Everyone knows how important a life of prayer is, but for many people, it's a struggle. For many people, they just can't get it to work. And for many people, they just feel like their prayers are not making it past the ceiling. Today, if you will change just one thing, you will develop your prayer life, deepen your spiritual life, and you will see God move in ways that you haven't seen before. One thing that will change your spiritual life and your prayer life forever. And it's wrapped up in this word, abide. Jesus said in John chapter 15 and verse 4, "Abide in me and I in you." This word abide in the original Greek means far more than just dwelling with or remaining with. It means to continue along the course, to continue in His presence. Now, since God is everywhere present, this text isn't about God abiding with us, it's about us abiding with Him. It's an intentional, deliberate decision to continue in His presence, and here's why. It's distractions. Distractions are everywhere. Today, we are being pulled in a million different directions. And we're not being pulled by bad things. It's children, it's work, it's finances, it's health. These things are good things, but they distract us from the best things. And then on top of that, in our weariness and in our weakness, we give in to sin. We get off the path and we fall short of the glory of God. And when we are living in sin, and I'm not talking about bad sins, I'm just talking about everyday sin. Or when we're distracted by the things of this world, it is impossible for us to abide in the presence of God because we can't concentrate on two things at once. Paul tells us that there's only two ways to live this Christian life. We're either living in the flesh or we're living in the Spirit. And these two powers are constantly in conflict with one another. In Romans chapter 7, Paul speaks of this as his own personal battle. And if Paul battled with the flesh, if Paul battled with sin, it's a given that you and I are going to battle with sin as well. Friends, there's no way to deal with the flesh except in the same manner that Christ dealt with it. Our old man was crucified with Christ, that the body of sin might be done away with, that we should no longer be slaves of sin. And so we go back to John chapter 15, where Jesus lays out the necessity of remaining in His presence or continuing in His presence. Much like Peter, the way that this is done is by focusing on Christ. When Peter stepped out of the boat, as he focused on Christ, he remained on top of the water. But when he looked over the shoulder of Christ and he saw the approaching storm, he became weary, he became worried, and he failed, and he began to sink. It was when his eyes were taken off of Christ, when he lost his focus, that he began to fall. It's like what the writer of Hebrews said, "Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith." Now, there are three general ways to do this. Three general ways to abide in the presence of Christ. And according to Scripture, I think that God intends for us to be practicing one of these three things throughout the full 24-hour period that we call a day. Those three things are worship, and that's when the heart of man connects with the heart of God. Prayer, that's when we communicate with God. And then it's the reading and meditating on His Word. Now, I have videos on all three of these that I'll link down in the description. But let me challenge you to do this. Make abiding in His presence a priority, and you will see your prayer life develop and God move in ways that you haven't seen before. On the screen now are two videos that go deeper into worship and prayer. They'll help you make Him a priority and develop your spiritual life. Hey guys, this has been Jeremy Skinner bringing you less than 10 minutes of accurate biblical truth. If you found this helpful to your spiritual life, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share it with a friend. God bless.